Good morning, and thank you once again for joining one of our publications, a new publication of this opportunities, phase 13 of Latin NCAP, and we are releasing new results today. I'm going to start showing the results as usual with the latest models we have tested, the Honda WRV, 2 airbags in the most basic safety configuration made in Brazil, and the Volkswagen Nivus 6 airbags in the most basic safety spec also made in Brazil. The two cars we're going to be releasing results today is Honda WRV made in Brazil and the Volkswagen Virtus made in Brazil. We start with the Honda result. The Honda got 1 star in Latin NCAP results, and the vehicle doesn't have side protection for the head and the body. So we're watching now the frontal crash test, and the frontal crash test at now slow motion. It shows a good structure in the frontal. Good protection overall, adequate protection for the chest, good protection for the neck and the head of the adults in the frontal test. That actually shows a good overall good protection for the adults. Looking at the rear seat, we have both child occupants, and the 3-year-old dummy was installed forward-facing using the ISOFIX connectors and the ISOFIX anchorages, but to our surprise, the 1.5-year-old was installed rearward-facing using the seat belt, which surprised us, knowing that the car has standard ISOFIX connectors in the vehicle, ISOFIX anchorages in the car. Now we're watching to the side impacts in real speed. The side impacts on real speed, the vehicle doesn't have any side airbags, and therefore, of course, they don't deploy. It surprised a little bit the penetration in the structural penetration on the side, the card penetration into the passengers compartments. It was a surprise for Latin NCAP, but overall child occupants showed a good protection also on the side impact and an adequate protection overall for the adults, with a marginal protection to the chest of the adult, which is kind of surprising. We're watching now the top view of the side impact, and we are now diving into the pedestrian protection. Pedestrian protection for the Honda WRV was overall good. The head showed mostly good protection. The upper leg, we're watching it now, and the full leg assessment as well. The vehicle overall showed good score in the pedestrian protection. We're watching now the whiplash protection or the rear impact neck protection, and this vehicle showed overall a good protection for the adult neck in the rear impact. We're watching now the electronic stability control test, the ESC test, where the vehicle performed well without any issues. And when it comes to the extra tests that we perform with the MOOS test, which are not affecting the scoring, but they do affect information to consumers at this point, the vehicle managed to reach a higher speed of 85 and 75 kph. We're watching now the results of the Volkswagen Nivus. The vehicle reached a 5-star results for this car. The vehicle is overall offering a lot of good equipment and good performance. We're watching now the frontal test. In the frontal test, the vehicle showed a good structure, stable structure, stable footwell area as well, and good protection for the adults in the frontal, overall with adequate and good protection for the chest and good protection for the head and neck of the adults. When it comes to the child occupants, in the frontal test, the vehicle has standard ISOFIX anchorages, so both child seats were installed in the rear seat, both of them rearward facing using different type of seats, and both of them using the anchorage, the ISOFIX anchorage points. So with that, actually explained also good performance due to the child seat selection and also due to the way the child seats were adjusted to the car. So in both cases, or we can say for the child occupants, the protection was front and side impact complete. We're watching now the side impact protection, the side impact in real speed now and in slow motion at this moment. We see the airbags deploying, the head curtain airbags and the side body airbags both deploying on time and offering good protection for the side impact for the adult. And we also notice that the structure on the side, it's let's say offers a limited penetration or not so much penetration as in other vehicles, which is good from the side impact perspective. Both child occupants actually showed good protection in the side impact as well in this vehicle. We are now following up with the pole impact test. Side pole impact test, as you recall, is basically aiming to assess the capacity of the side curtain airbags and side body airbags to protect the occupants. And in this case, the adults, and both airbags deployed well on time and offer good protection to the adult despite the deformation that we are seeing in this kind of test, and we're watching it from the top view at this time, and now from the rear view of the side pole impact. We're watching now to the pedestrian assessment, to the pedestrian subsystems, and we see that overall the head protection worked well for the pedestrian. Also the upper leg test, we're watching it, and the full leg assessments as well. And overall the vehicle is not one of the top performers, but still offered a good assessment, a good level of protection to get a reasonably good result. We're watching now the whiplash. Whiplash offered a good protection for the neck of the adult in the rear impact, which is also good extra points for the car. Electronic stability control was assessed successfully. Success in this vehicle with the robot according to regulation, that was okay. And this car was also tested according to the MUS scenarios, different MUS scenarios and consumer testing scenarios. And in both cases, the vehicle reached quite a high speed, over 75 and 80, let's say, showing good performance. This vehicle is equipping also autonomous emergency braking systems in city version and interurban version, both versions, and both were tested. As you can see now in the test, we are seeing the when the target is static, which is actually standing, and the vehicle brakes automatically. And we're watching now on the from the drone when the target in the front is moving and all of a sudden stops. And with that, the ADAS technologies, the AAB technologies in the car proven to be really robust. The Nivus has a large penetration of the markets for this model with AAB technologies on board. We're talking about more than 50% of the volume, and this actually explains why this vehicle is getting the good score and the high score also in this safety assist box. So as a wrap up, the Honda WRV most basic safety spec is 2 airbags and ESC, and the car on that got 1 star. The vehicle showed limited protection due to the lack of side head protection for the car, so the pole impact was not performed on this vehicle. Also in terms of the child occupants, in terms of the child occupants as well, a score not so high. Pedestrian protection was quite well, and the safety assist box is also scoring not so high because the vehicle doesn't have the ABS, autonomous emergency braking systems and ADAS technologies as extra, which actually do score in this case. The Volkswagen Nivus overall is a 5-star performance, good results, and the ABS in large numbers and the side head protection and side impact protection in this vehicle as standard. The ABs are optionals, but in large volume in the production. So both of these things, plus a good performance in the child occupant protection, contributed to make the car a 5-star vehicle. Just as a comparison, as a reference, now we're wrapping up the results. You will notice that the pedestrian protection for the Honda is higher than the Nivus. Yes, they are. Both cars, they do not have the AEB, autonomous emergency braking for pedestrians. So the scoring in this box is only for passive safety, or what we call subsystems. And in this case, the performance of the Honda was better than the Volkswagen Nivus, clearly. But for you to remember, you need to have at least a little bit more than 40% of the score in the passive safety of pedestrians in order to be able to reach or access the area of the 5-star zone. This is going to be changing as from 1st January 2023. So we are switching to a more demanding level in the pedestrian protection passive safety in Latin NCAP. So until this point is the latest publication of results. We're wrapping up this new publication. We thank you very much for your support. And we, before we say goodbye, we would like to thank especially to Global NCAP, FI Foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, also to ICRT and IDB for all your support since the beginning. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you soon in the new publication of results of Latin NCAP. Until the next time, cheers, bye-bye.